Hi everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdygirlcreates, and I apologize for the sound of my voice. For some reason, I am having very dry throat, and I am just hacking. So if I do, I will try to edit it out the best to my ability. But I'm just having one heck of a week, and I wanted to talk about this problem yesterday, but of course, bad weather conditions prevented me from finishing this video. So I am now doing the voiceover today, and I've be honest with you, I got so riled up with this topic that I have re-recorded it more than once. So, my apologies if I start rambling in this video. It's just something I have been wanting to talk about for a while, and I think Moon Knight was the final straw. And that is the Disney Plus problem. Now, this problem is going to mostly focus on the Marvel shows. Yes, I know there's problems with the other shows, but right now I just want to talk about the Marvel shows. And the reason why is because the MCU is supposed to be a very well constructed universe. And it had been for a very long time. I think it started to fall off after Infinity War. I mean, I know a lot of people loved Endgame. I did not. And I can always explain that in another video if you want me to. But I felt even in that movie, there was a lot of some drastic changes to characters that made no sense, and it annoyed me for most of it. I mean, it gets to a point where you're getting so annoyed with these characters, you start seeing the villain's point of view, and then you know there's a problem. But my problem with the Disney Plus Marvel shows is, number one, the writing. Now, I don't know. Some people will argue it's because they're not given enough episodes to do these shows. They'll also argue about what happened during the early filmings of these shows. We all know we all had to sit home. But I really don't think so. And let me explain why. Because a good writer will be able to construct a well-balanced story with the amount of episodes they are provided. WandaVision, which was one of the victims of that situation, which I will not say out loud, was more in a closed set environment. It wasn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was out there filming at different locations. WandaVision was on one set, and it stayed on one set. I don't see why precautions couldn't be taken to film the show the way they wanted to. Now, I know there was also a lot of interference and a lot of changes because they didn't want the main character to suddenly look like she depended on a male character, and that was another thing that irks me. But I notice these writers don't seem to know how to write these damn shows, and they seem to want to spend a lot of time on stuff that, in my opinion, doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't. I mean, there is no reason to spend a majority of your episodes on Loki Google-eyeing and drooling over his female counterpart Sylvie. There's no reason to suddenly drop Bucky's plotline halfway through the series to continue to focus on Sam wanting to know if he's good enough to be Captain America, even though the end of Endgame never implied he had an issue with it. There's no reason for Moon Knight to spend so much time on his persona of Steve, or Steven. The most annoying thing I think I've seen so far in the show has been Steven. This is a persona I do not like. He's annoying. I know they're trying to make him out to be the everyman who's suddenly thrown into a situation he's not ready for. But this persona is not at all likable. All right. The fact that WandaVision started off as one type of show and ended a completely different type of show, and the main character who did a lot of bad crap didn't end with any consequences, is just unacceptable. It is just freaking unacceptable, and I am tired of it. there's no balance. The only one that came close would be Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye did a better job at balancing out their story and the relationship between the two characters. These other shows have not. I mean, even What If, if you follow my channel, you've listened to and watched my reviews on What If, and I was frustrated through 99% of that show. It also leads into this issue of Marvel had a hit with Guardians of the Galaxy. But they seem to forget that before Guardians of the Galaxy, they had a hit with different types of Marvel shows that had different types of, I don't know if the word atmosphere is right, but let me give an example. Captain America and the Winter Soldier was a much darker, much more serious story. It worked for that story. But ever since Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody is trying to recapture James Gunn lightning in a bottle comedy with every movie since there. If you go back to Thor 1, Thor 1 is a completely different movie from Thor Ragnarok and the next Thor that's coming out, Love and Thunder. I do not like the Thor Ragnarok Thor. I prefer the Thor from the very first movie. I prefer the Thor from Infinity War. I did not like the Thor in Endgame. They think every Marvel production now has to have that James Gunn sense of humor. And I think it does a disservice for certain characters. And I think one of the characters right now would be Moon Knight. For the past few weeks, I have been trying my best to watch Moon Knight. And I cannot get through it. I just finally got up through episode 5. And I haven't even finished it. That's how annoyed I am with it. Not every character is Deadpool, okay? I mean, I know Moon Knight might come close to that, but I want these characters to be distinct from one another. I want Loki to be the mischievous villain that he is, okay? Not this sudden goofball who's finds himself in love for the first situation and feeling bad over everything he's ever done. I don't want this Wanda who's like all into the sitcom atmosphere because she wants the perfect happy family, but at the same time doing all this evil shit and everybody excuses her for it. Okay? I'd rather you just go straight into the evil crap like the next Doctor Strange movie is apparently doing, instead of trying to do all this humor all the time. It doesn't work for every single character. There are characters it's appropriate for. It's worked with Ant-Man. I don't know about Ant-Man 2. I wasn't a very big fan of that. But the Disney Plus shows don't seem to want to do anything a lot serious or darker. Everything is one-liners and jokes. And I know people have complained about this with the Marvel Universe for a while now. But I have to disagree. It wasn't always there. Okay? It wasn't always dominant. Yes, Tony Stark made cracks, but there was a lot of seriousness in the Iron Man movies too. Captain America started off as a 1940s serial type movie. Okay? The second movie, which was much more darker and which was a much more espionage type film. Thor was more like a Shakespearean epic that was set in modern world with a character who was from a different type of mythology that didn't fit in. Okay, he was like the fish out of water. It made sense. But now it's like everything's got to be humorous. And I think Infinity War was the only one that diverted from that. It had its moments with it, but I still think it's a better film than Endgame. And the Disney Plus shows are going all in on this comedy stuff. Even What If. I think there was a lot of episodes in What If, like these zombie episodes, should have been a hell of a lot darker and serious. Wasn't. Another problem is forcing in characters into these shows no one gives a crap about. Okay? Even making up ones. And when I mean making up ones, we're talking about Moon Knight. The wife character. Doesn't exist. Threw her in this freaking show just so you have a woman who needs to be there to educate Mark/Steven/ whoever freaking else he is at this point. And it's once again showing how his character's not good enough and needs the woman there. And as a woman, I'm tired of this trope. I am so freaking tired of this. Even in WandaVision, with all the evil she did, Monica Rambeau excuses her. Like, you had Monica Rambeau in that series. That was not the series to introduce Monica Rambeau in. Sorry, it wasn't. This is where you should have focused more on the supernatural and had Doctor Strange or had other characters that fit in with that atmosphere. Not Monica Rambeau. My personal opinion. Not that I didn't like the actress as Monica Rambeau. I thought she was great. Just didn't fit in there. She was just there to let Wanda know, we understand the trauma you've been through. It's okay if you enslaved a whole town. No. And then, of course, there's Sylvie, the enchantress nobody wanted in Loki. This character is there, again, to tell Loki to do better. She's a Loki. She acts nothing like a Loki. She is perfect as she's a victim of circumstance. It's like, I don't like her. She's annoying. She's better than all the other Lokis. There's never a moment where I feel like she was defeated in any way. And you just have Tom Hiddleston's Loki just skipping behind her, waiting for her to tell him what to do next. I mean, I wanted the Loki we got in the original Thor movies. Where the hell was he? You could have still made him mischievous and arrogant and egotistical and still kind of had him bordering that anti-hero line. No, we didn't get that. And Hawkeye, personally, had no problem with the actress. She thought she did a good job. But Echo, I'd rather have had Kingpin throughout this whole show. I don't think Echo is a strong enough character to entice people to want to come in and watch Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye was definitely the better of all these Marvel shows, and one of the ones I liked. Still not wanting to really re-watch it, but Echo shouldn't have been there. Yolanda should not have been there. Granted, she had reasons for going after Hawkeye, but once again, she was there for the stupid comedy. Another thing is, I don't see, with the exception of WandaVision, how any of these shows help move the MCU along. Okay? Loki, yeah, alright, fine, he opened the multiverse, but you have Spider-Man that kind of insinuates they did it. So, I don't know what the point was of having the multiverse in Loki, other than to introduce a version of Kang, who's not Kang, by the way. Again, these shows don't feel necessary. It kind of feels like what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was after 4 seasons when they just decided to stop making it connect to the MCU. Like, you can have these shows, but it doesn't feel like you need to watch these shows to find out what's going to happen in the Marvel Universe. I mean, What If can connect, but do you really need to watch What If for the next Doctor Strange? I bet you don't. I bet you don't. I feel like it's unnecessary cash grab and just for something to fill up time on the Disney Plus channel. And you have a character like Moon Knight who could work as a freaking series, but you've done nothing to make me want to enjoy this show. I barely see Moon Knight. It's mostly Steve arguing with Mark about who should be in control of the body and the wife chastising everyone. It's Ethan Hawke walking around like some weird cult leader that's not even interesting. And then the fight scenes are blackouts, so you don't even really get to see that many fight scenes. Everything's a freaking blackout. I mean, Moon Knight would have been great if the right person was behind this. But it feels like they're trying to save money on everything. Like, we can't really have too many fight scenes because that's going to cost. You're freaking Disney. Put the money in. Put the money in. Get some writers who can actually write. People who have, like, a freaking resume. People who actually were up for awards for great writing. I'm sick and tired of you hiring just people off the street to do this crap. But then again, at this point, I think some people off the street could do better than what you have hired. Loki sucked. And all I heard about Loki for weeks was the fact that somebody who worked on the show was proud about the fact that they made him bisexual. In a one-off moment that could have been interpreted any way. I don't care. Their sexuality doesn't matter to the story. There's nothing that happened in that show that proved that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with having LGBT characters. but you have to validate it, okay? You have to write a great superhero story about a character who just happens to be LGBT. There is nothing in the Loki show that support this whole campaign. That's my other issue. People like don't do their research on these characters. I heard Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision, but the reason they dropped him was because they didn't want a man helping a woman. Not the fact that Doctor Strange has more experience than Wanda and could probably teach her how to control her powers better. No. It's because they don't want a man helping a woman. And this crap has gotten so stupid, people have lost interest. I mean, look at Netflix. They're losing money. I'm sure Disney Plus is going to be losing more too. I mean, if the Obi-Wan show completely sucks, they're going to have to do everything they can to make The Mandalorian interesting, because Boba Fett was shit. And I'm not going to talk about that on this show, but it was. I think outside of Moon Knight, which could have worked, and even Hawkeye, which did work in my opinion, they're not picking the right characters for these Disney Plus shows. They should bring back Daredevil. I mean, Charlie Cox is great as it. Bring back the same team that worked on it. Bring back Luke Cage. Get somebody to do better writing on Iron Fist. There's nothing wrong with the casting. I know some people don't like the casting, but my problem was the writing and the choreography on that show. Get a better writer. Get a better stunt team on that. And bring back the Defenders. And do a better job than Netflix did. Bring in Ghost Rider. Okay? And no, I don't want Robbie Reyes unless he's a secondary character in this. We should be focusing on Johnny Blaze. Okay? And get an actor who could be Johnny Blaze. Not Nicolas Cage. Not some random guy you pick because it looks good on the checkmark paper. I want somebody who could be Johnny Blaze. No, we're going to have Loki in a show that's I think it's going to have a second season. Who knows about a third? Moon Knight, a show that could have multiple seasons, I heard is just a one-shot so far. There's no reason to have another season of WandaVision. I mean, I don't know if Jeremy Renner is going to come back for more Hawkeye. Is there a reason to continue on Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I mean, you completely, sideline Bucky in that show. And still the whole premise of that show contradicted everything that happened in Endgame. Pick better characters for these series. I mean, Moon Knight is a new character nobody knows, but you've dropped the ball. It's so bad. I tried. I'm sitting there, I'm still trying to finish it, and I can't. And some people go, well, if you can get through 2, 3, and 4, 5 is better, but 6 is great. I shouldn't have to do that. Every episode should keep me intrigued. And I know I'm ranting, and I'm sorry, but I needed to talk about this, and I know a lot of people have talked about this, but I think this whole Disney Plus situation is a mess. I wish somebody would come in there and say, okay, we're scrapping everything and we're starting over because you people don't know what the hell you're doing. We need better writers. We need better story structure. We need characters that are going to work on Disney Plus. That's my opinion. Tell me what you think. Go ahead and comment down below. Sorry for this rant. I'm kind of frustrated. I was hoping to get this done yesterday. Life has been getting in the way, but I want to know what you think. You agree, you don't agree? Go ahead, comment down below. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. I see I get a lot of views, but the likes are always low, so please hit that like button. And go ahead and share the video. Hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I have another video up, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.